So joining me now is Craig Rispin, the Futurist, and we have some question for you, Craig, to start with major trends that are happening around the world. Obviously, technology plays such an important part of what we do in our lives and also in our business. How important is it for a business to really have a strategy now to start dealing with these changes, and what are those changes going to be over the next few years?
Sure. Recently Microsoft has a new CEO. His name is Satya Nadella. And soon after he came on board, he sent out an email to all the Microsofties. And it was sent out early in the morning. It was 3,000 words.
Yep.
And I'll just give you the first two lines because it's related to what I'll be covering.
Yep.
And it started like this. We live in a mobile first and cloud first world. Computing is ubiquitous, and experiences span devices and exhibit ambient intelligence. Billions of sensors, screens, and devices in conference rooms, living rooms, cities, cars, and phones are forming a vast network and streams of data that simply disappear into the background of our lives. And he went on to say that we're moving from a world where computing power was scarce to a place where it is now almost limitless, where the true scarcity is increasingly human attention. What a great way to put that, because yes, last year, 1.8 billion mobile handsets sold. 1.8 billion. 450 million new people in China got their first mobile handset. And, of course, there's a lot more people on mobiles now. And I think for small business, are they using mobiles to the greatest advantage? I'm not sure if they are. So I want to show them how. And people will think, oh, maybe I am. But, boy, you're going to see something that's going to blow their mind at the summit. They're going to think, oh boy, well, really, great, do you think so? And I was at an event yesterday where it's an event for CEOs of an organization that manages all the barcodes. So every product in the world that has a barcode on it that gets scanned, and all of their retailers are saying, we had no idea that so many customers are purchasing products with their mobiles now. It's just blown our mind. It zoomed right past the desktop. Twice as many people are using their mobiles now than last year to purchase products.
Wow. So it's
And I
certainly
know.
a changing dynamic out there, and that's what you're going to say. So even if small business think that they've sort of started using mobile, you're going to be sharing some stuff at the summit next week to make them think that there's a lot more to do.
Well, certainly. There are lots of things that can be done. I have a client that's a big bank, and they said to all their bankers, all you need is an iPad. You don't need anything else anymore. It's your iPad is your phone. You can run the bank. You can do all the banking software. What do you need a laptop or a desktop for? Get out of here. We don't want you in our offices anymore. Get out there and work with customers. And the great thing is that you could use the same technology that this big bank uses yourself, and if you're a solopreneur, you only need one of them, right? My client did, and you've got the same access. We live in an incredible world now where you can rent cloud computing power, connect it to your mobile device, and you've got exactly the same resources that a major global multinational has, but it only costs you $10 a month. So for small business, it's an enabler. You can be on the same level playing field with a global multinational. Of course, they have to spend millions because they've got tens of thousands of employees, but you can have exactly the same resources. And when was a time where a solopreneur or small office or medium office could be on an equal standing with a global multinational? I think it is a great time to be involved in small and medium business.
And I suppose that brings me to the next question, because obviously if you are a small business and now you can play on an even platform with the larger businesses of the world, innovation sort of comes into play. So I know you did a survey with CEOs, and I think 1,200 or so, and 99%
Yes.
of those believe that innovation is critical. So from a small business perspective, Craig, innovation programs. How important are they to an SME to help them thrive and take up some of these great opportunities?
It's critical, and you can see it around us. As you're out there driving around cities, you see so many empty buildings for lease. I'm sure you've seen this, haven't you?
Definitely.
Yeah, yeah, and the reason is because things are changing, rapidly changing. So you can, and if you don't keep up with how things are changing, if you don't innovate, innovate is taking action, using, betting on the future, using your creativity and applying it and applying it in your business. It's so important, critically important. This is why I do what I do. I have to tell you, I would do it for free, but I have to support a family, of course. So, because I think it's so critical, I run into so many businesses, and I know for a fact that the business is changing, and they're just struggling to try and keep up and do the same thing that they were doing just a few years ago. But so many clients come to me and they say, Craig, I've been in this industry for 30 years, and we've seen more massive change in the last 3 years than the previous 30. And I know what you're going to say to me, Craig. You're going to tell me the next 3 years are going to be even faster changing than the last 3 years. And I go, yes, and I've got evidence to prove that to you. So how can you keep on doing the same thing when the world is changing around you? You can't. But so many people are doing the same thing they did a year ago or 3 years ago or 10 years ago, and they're expecting it to still serve them. It just doesn't make sense. Can I give you one for instance?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll give you one for instance. There's more money spent on online advertising with Google now than on television in this country. Than on television advertising. Can you believe that? I wonder how Channel 10, Channel 9, Channel 7 are feeling about this. That more people are spending money. Well, one of the reasons they're doing it is they're getting a better result. I mean, you don't pay Google unless somebody clicks on your ad, where you can advertise on television and you hope somebody buys something. So, I mean, people don't believe that there's more money spent on online advertising than on television, on radio, on print in this country now. People haven't woken up to that.
So how do businesses, you said yourself that people are coming up to you and sort of saying, as an SME, I'm struggling with today. I think they call it digital disruption around what's happening in the world right now, and yet there are still businesses still thinking and doing stuff that they've done years before, like traditional advertising and marketing that just doesn't work anymore. So how can an SME really think like a futurist and start planning, not just coping for today, but planning for the future?
Yeah, so there are techniques at Futurist, which is a great big community, by the way. Yes, and you can get a college degree in future studies in Australia. I'm actually advising a new certificate up in Queensland for future studies on the advisory panel there. But there are just a few things that you can do to steal some ideas from futurists that help you in your small business. Think more globally. Think like a futurist and apply some of these ideas. And innovation really is about taking a bet on the future. So you look around and you say, okay, I think in 3 years from now, this is how the world's going to be. Therefore, I'm going to move towards that and leave my competitors behind. So I'll give you 3 ideas. So first of all, futurists think global. They just don't think local. So many businesses, they don't think global from startup. And I was just actually talking to somebody yesterday about this, and they said they're a management consultant, and they said, Craig, I see that you've got global clients. How do I get global clients? I said, do you have clients here in Australia that love your work? And she said, yes, I've got great clients. I said, are they multinational clients? I said, yes. And then she said, yes, they're multinational clients. I said, have you asked for a referral to the other country? You want to go to America. Have you asked them for a referral? She said, I'd never thought of that. And I think, well, that's because she was thinking local, right? Rather than global. So futurists think global rather than local. They look all around the world and say, what can I bring back to Australia? And Janine Alice from Bruce Juice fame, that's what she did to be successful, went to America, saw something, brought it back, right? She said that at a conference we were both speaking at. A couple other techniques. Think long-term rather than short-term. When I say long-term, yeah, you say, well, the world's changing so rapidly, don't you have to, things are changing. But don't you get overwhelmed? Well, not if you have a long-term view. And so futurists think, okay, what is our longer-term plan? Where are things going to be in 3, 5, 10, 20 years? And if you can see these trends, you take that look and you can see it. You can see it. For instance, if you say, for instance, I see all these kids and they're sitting on their iPads and they don't watch television anymore. What is that going to mean for television in the future? And you can make a bet on that, right?
Yeah.
So that's a perfect example. And one other thing is, futurists think in multiple futures, not just one future. Meaning that we do scenario planning. We say, this is the worst case scenario, here's the best case scenario, here's another scenario, here's another scenario. Here are possible, probable futures. And we make plans around those because we know that the future isn't defined, that we can define our future. We can influence the future. And therefore, we can't just say, well, it's going to happen. We can say, we can go out and make it happen. And so what we try and do is ask questions so we can create these preferable futures. These are just a few techniques that I've highlighted. And in my ebook that everybody will get a copy of that registers for the summit, they'll all get a copy of it and with lots of hyperlinks so they can get free resources to apply this in their business. And I know that several small business people have taken some of these ideas and they've used them to pitch their clients. Just to do a pitch. Oh, Craig, that's a great way I could pitch a client. And I know that they went out and got $1 million contract with it. So there's a technique in there called a futures wheel. So everybody has to go digging for it. It's in my book. It's called a futures wheel. Use that when you pitch a client. Maybe you'll get a multi-million-dollar contract too.
Unbelievable. And as you said, every attendee at the summit next week will be receiving that fantastic book. But talking...
Everybody who registers. Everyone who registers, yeah.
Exactly. But next week is, of course, the summit, and you'll be doing a fantastic keynote. So I'll take you back to that second point that you just said about how SMEs can prepare for the future, and that's having a long-term view. So can you give us an insight into the keynote that you'll be doing for us next week? Will you be sharing with us what's going to happen with a long-term view of future technology over the next few years?
Yes, I've got specific examples because my background came out of research and development labs. That's my background. I worked at a research and development arm of Philips Consumer Electronics and helped to invent this thing you may remember called the DVD player. And I have to tell you how the products got to market. It was 10 years to get it to market. So if you can go to these labs, you can see what's coming out. So I go into these labs and I can show you things before they're going to come out. And that's what I'm going to be doing, revealing, okay, what comes after mobile? There are things coming after mobile that are going to be 10 times bigger than mobile is today. And mobile already has infected, I say, this massively mobile virus has infected 97% of the population have mobiles now. That's incredible, isn't it?
Oh, wow.
97%.
Yep.
Even kids and seniors, right?
Yes.
So, so I'll be showing what comes after that. So if you're a small to medium business owner, you want to make a bet on the future. Make that bet. Take action and say, gee, right now only 25% of my customers are ordering with their mobile. Well, in 3 years' time, could it be near 100%? Would it be 97%? And I'll make a bet on that. So I'll do something today. And I have to say, you know, if we just live in a world where it's so cheap for small businesses to take action, there's no reason why they shouldn't.
Makes perfect sense, Craig. And there's also, you've offered a special door prize as well for those attending the summit. Can you tell us a little bit more about that special gift from you?
Sure. So many people see me out there in the marketplace speaking at these great big events like the summit, and they think that's what I do primarily. I do a lot of that, but I also every week I run mentoring groups around the country. And I'm starting one out in the Hills District. So people can come to the city or they come to the Hills District one. I'm going to start one in Parramatta. I've got one running in Newcastle. And I've had clients that have been coming to this for 20 years. And it's a program. It does cost about $500 a month, $6,000 a year. But I'll be auctioning. Well, we'll do a draw, right? We're going to do a raffle.
Yeah.
And we'll do it in a unique way, a way that'll everybody in a way that won't involve any tickets because that's so last century. But we'll do a draw. I think we'll do a draw using mobiles. How about we do a draw using mobiles?
I think that sums it up.
Yeah, let's do that. And so this is worth $6,000, and it's my gift to the summit to give away to anybody who comes along. And they get a chance to participate in this drawing and have a year's worth of mentoring with me, which means that you will see me face to face or on a video conference, depending on our availability, every single month. And you get together with a group and try your ideas and innovate as a team in a group mentoring session that's 2 hours a month. So it's 3 hours a month with me and with a group. And my clients love it. They say it's fantastic. So I hope a worthy small to medium business, one that is committed to the future, wants to innovate, can win this awesome prize.
Terrific. I'm sure they will. And Craig, thank you very much for your time today. We can't wait for your enlightening presentation next week, where you're going to unveil the crystal ball of the future and how we can all become futurists in our small business. That's at the Small Business Summit for Greater Western Sydney next Wednesday, the 8th of October. Thanks for your time today, and we very much look forward to the keynote next week, Craig.
I'm looking forward to it too.